Applications now open. Only 15 spots available for my next 8-week Platinum Dating System teleseminar. What if you could instantly tap into women's attraction mechanism? Wouldn't you want to know how? I'm John Anthony. I'm widely known as the world's top dating coach. Yes, world.
I've taken boot camps with other companies before. First of all, it completely shifted my reality into what is possible.
John, I wanted to thank you guys a lot. I'm having a blast out here and pulling regularly because of you guys.
So yeah, over the 3 nights, I ended up scoring every night with a different girl. And the process is just, it's efficient and simple.
I have 2 bachelor's degrees, one in computer science and the other one in philosophy. I also have a master's in human-computer interaction and a second master's in philosophy of cognitive science. It's basically cognitive psychology applied to software and systems. My educational background has allowed me to study and decode artificial intelligence, consciousness, and the nature of social interaction, especially between men and women in the dating and attraction world. Now, I found out pretty early on in life that science always trumps anxiety, insecurity, fear, and other sabotaging emotions. If you don't know how something works, it will always feel like a mystery to you. More specifically, women will always be a mystery to you until you know exactly why they'd be attracted to you in the first place. It's knowing how to actually see basic human dynamics, developing systems around the data, and then constantly making those systems infinitely better. That's what I do. But it wasn't a leap of faith to reach this conclusion. I followed a well-documented path of breadcrumbs. These breadcrumbs revealed the precise chemical reaction that attracts any woman to any man, with mentalist-type skills, techniques, and mindset resets. I brought all of these ingredients together and developed a single, repeatable, proven system. I focus on systems because during the course of my life and career, I've found one thing is irrefutable. Legitimate systems always transcend spoken language and cultural gaps. Systems are universal languages that can always work consistently if formed and executed properly. Because according to top neuroscientists, the actual spoken is only 7% of any conversation. The other 93% is eye contact, tone of voice, and body language. The truth is, 100% of the success of any interaction you have with women comes down to whether you trigger your attraction mechanism, which means knowing the what, how, and why to naturally do it. I'll be diving deep into these 3 key aspects in a minute, so everything makes perfect sense on how to attract hundreds of beautiful women for the one woman of your dreams. But first, let me give you a little peek into how I discovered all of this stuff. So when I was fresh out of college, my first job was with Lockheed Martin, working for military intelligence. A lot of people know Lockheed Martin for its subsidiary, Skunk Works, which develops highly classified military aircraft. I was just 22, working for one of the largest technological top-secret corporations anywhere on the planet. So, needless to say, my job was pretty huge. I was put in charge of nuclear, chemical, and biological defense strategies for foreign enemy attack on American soil. In other words, if North Korea attacked the United States, my systems, which are still in use years later, protect you and your family from invasion and harm. There has to be systems and protocols in place for the soldiers to follow, because it's not knowing what to do that makes soldiers' emotions get the best of them and forces predictable human mistakes. In this case, just one mistake could have meant our American soil was vulnerable to attack. Just imagine what our country would look like if people like myself with optimization superpowers weren't utilized to help keep Americans safe. The deepest, most classified levels of counterintelligence against attack. My job was anticipating all the possible scenarios that could happen during a foreign attack. Countless scenarios. I was responsible for setting up systems to counter them. I had to optimize the speed of response time and the accuracy of the counter-response in these defense scenarios. I spent about 5 years at Lockheed Martin in military intelligence before I decided to leave and explore new talents in other areas. Quickly, I used this same system to become a top Texas Hold'em poker player. In just my second major tournament ever, I was able to take first place, as well as that hefty first place prize money. I've also used my system to help me predict the stock market and day trading markets, like the S&P 500 and Russell Index, with mind-blowing ease and success. It's only because of my extraordinary talent for decoding, analyzing, and optimizing systems that I'm able to live a truly miraculous life of financial freedom. I get to travel the planet and be with women of different cultures and backgrounds. No job, no boss, no schedule someone else creates for me, no 9-to-5 nonsense, no limitations whatsoever. Instead, everything that once felt unattainable is almost automatically within your reach. It certainly was for me. In the last 10 years, I've lived a truly exhilarating life, living in places like Vegas, LA, San Diego, Miami, Dallas, Charlotte, Philadelphia, New York City, Toronto, Colombia, Puerto Rico, London, Ukraine, Poland, Portugal, Beijing, and more than I can remember off the top of my head. But in the last 10 plus years, I've done the same thing in dating. I've developed the ultimate data-proven attraction system, 100% based on completely replicable brain science. Just like my exact systems and protocols continue to help keep Americans optimally safe from foreign enemy attack, I've given men the combination code to unlocking any woman's attraction mechanism. The primal hardwired chemical response that's responsible for virtually every decision any woman makes. This is absolutely no joke. Of course, I realize you likely have a lot of resistance believing any of this. You might be telling yourself stories about, I'm too fat, I'm not good looking enough, my hair's funny, I'm past my prime, I don't have enough muscle, online dating doesn't work for me, I don't like nightclubs, I always say the wrong thing, women always flake on me, I'm too anxiety-ridden and socially awkward, I don't have the time to learn this pseudoscience stuff. I can never tell if a woman is interested in me or my money. I have everything going right in my life, except for women, and they're too much of a mystery for me to figure out. I'm not like those piggish guys who feel good about treating women like objects. I'm not a natural, and I get too nervous talking with women. My heart always feels like it's going to beat out of my chest the moment I consider approaching someone and simply saying, "Hi." Women just don't like me for some reason. I'm simply not good enough for hot women to be consistently attracted to me. I am simply unlucky that I wasn't born like the cool guys who get women easily. In over 10 years, 99% of the men I've personally coached have never once approached a woman in public to strike up a conversation. So, you're absolutely not alone. In whatever story or stories that stop you from feeling worthy of the beautiful female attention every man deserves. But once you know how to genuinely trigger a woman's attraction mechanism, you become unstoppable. This attraction mechanism is the same foundation behind Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook. He realized the same thing I did. People will do anything to receive the attention and validation we all want. Zuckerberg discovered this during a rat study he conducted at the same university where the early version of Facebook came from. In this study, he gave a rat the choice between food and a euphoric chemical reaction that floods the brain. The rat died, Facebook was born. That's what makes this brain science so incredible. It works on any woman 100% of the time. Now, I know a lot of this is hard to believe with the truly countless false gurus and coaches telling you how just a handful of magical phrases are all it takes to attract and seduce women. It's simply not true. There's no such thing as magical phrases that will make women instantly want to jump into bed with you. real people and real attraction doesn't work that way. Don't get me wrong, I have amazing text sequences that work across the board, but they aren't canned sequences, they're dynamic. In other words, everything I create is designed to conform to your personality, your tone, and your goals. It doesn't matter if your goals are mutually pleasurable, multiple one-time sexual encounters, or ongoing monogamous romantic connections. It all works exactly the same when you know how to predictably tap into women's built-in primal attraction mechanism. Now, I recently had a documentary film crew follow me around for an entire year. In that year, I personally demonstrated my scientifically proven system, while also displaying some real-life coaching with guys who have never, ever approached a single woman in their lives. There are over 100 hidden camera videos with full audio, so you can see and hear everything I do and say from start to finish in each interaction. So it's easily repeatable and replicated in your own dating encounters. I've actually used these documentary videos to coach thousands of clients online and in person. And while other dating experts do attempt to develop similar content, nothing compares to being able to follow a scientifically driven and proven system that's been tested, refined, adjusted, evolved, optimized, and polished for over a decade. Here's the deal. When you know the real purpose for everything you do and say, be it online dating apps like Tinder or Bumble, or in person at your local coffee shop while flirting with a barista, or at a bar or club, it eliminates the nervousness and anxiety you typically feel around the idea of cold attraction. You always know exactly the right steps to take, and exactly what to do at each step, whether you're interacting with a woman online or off. I'm talking about everything from how to get matches on Tinder or Bumble, sending messages, setting up meetups, going on dates, and what to do on those dates to get the girl to come home with you. Everything is all thought out for you. And the best part is, the system does the work for you, making your job of getting the girl almost easy, even simple, because it eliminates all of the guesswork, confusion, anxiety, and frustration based on predictable, basic human dynamics. The most important part of those basic human dynamics is the uncontrollable need every human alive has, the urge for hits of a certain brain chemical reaction. The attraction map, and every step of your journey towards constantly triggering women's feel-good brain center in completely authentic ways, is literally laid out. So you're never overthinking and sabotaging what you really want with negative self-talk. This puts off the relaxed, authentic vibe that naturally attracts women. I personally demonstrate all these things, and way more, in the documentary-style footage we shot. This footage blows the whistle on how real romantic and sexual connections are made. Now, during this 1 year of filming, I made passionate love to 143 different women. All because I know why I'm doing what I'm doing, and exactly how it works on anyone. So, what exactly is the attraction mechanism? This is really amazing stuff, because not only does my system transform your romantic and sexual experiences with women, but it dramatically affects everything and everyone in your life. I'm talking about changing how people see you, increasing the amount of money you can make, or getting a raise or promotion. All because of understanding how to tap into people's drive, pleasure, and reward center in the brain, which is the exact same thing as what I call the attraction mechanism. It's also what gave Mark Zuckerberg the original idea behind what Facebook, which is now the most popular social media application, is today by a landslide. Heck, it's what makes Facebook one of the most addictive substances on the planet. That addiction and attraction mechanism is dopamine. Dopamine is why you, me, and every single human being alive do anything. When you get a like on Facebook, dopamine. When you get a compliment on your work or the way you look, dopamine. When you're surfing Amazon looking for stuff to buy, dopamine. When you actually buy the stuff, dopamine. When you see a beautiful woman, dopamine. When you see a woman naked for the first time, dopamine. When you're approaching orgasm, major dopamine. Funny thing, right before you climax, your dopamine plummets. That's why men are branded with the cliche of turning over and falling asleep right after orgasm. Whereas at climax, women's dopamine levels skyrocket. I'm just confirming something we already know. Women are different. Now, here's what's unbelievable about knowing how to trigger dopamine in women. They start associating you with their chemical sensations of euphoria. In other words, you become the reason the women you affect feel so good. And they come back to you wanting more. This one thing is what makes you undeniably, irrefutably, and universally adored by the women you invite into your life. Can you imagine what it would be like to have beautiful women literally addicted to you? Now, I often do a lot of work on my laptop at restaurants, bars, grills, coffee houses, public houses, you name it. I don't really set up home offices for myself. I prefer working in public where I can casually and anonymously observe male-female dynamics. And obviously, I get to practice and perfect the system myself when the opportunities naturally present themselves. Practice makes perfect, right? Actually, you probably don't know how right it is. I'll explain more in a minute. But here's a common scenario. I'll be sitting there on a bar stool or at a table, working on stuff I personally create for my dating students. And bam, a beautiful woman sits next to or near me. After a few minutes of minding my own business, I'll casually ask her something like, "How's your day going?" My next question is always based on one specific thing she says or reveals. When she inevitably asks about me, I don't necessarily introduce myself as a dating coach. I introduce myself as an entrepreneur, who's catching up on work, and how I like working in public because it gets me out of the house or apartment, which is all 100% true. I respond to her about things I'm genuinely interested in, like quantum physics, philosophy, politics, health, biology, aging in reverse, and all kinds of other nerdy stuff, basically whatever's freshest in my mind. Here's a key. My tonality, body language, and eye contact are all subtly moving the conversation forward, way more than everything I'm saying. Remember, 93% of male-female dynamics are nonverbal. They're physical, they're felt, they're mentally transmitted, also known as empathy. But like the majority of my coaching clients over the years, I used to have zero confidence. I couldn't even look people in the eyes without having a straight-up anxiety attack. I thought I was weird looking. I didn't fit in. I was bullied. The confident, extroverted guys intimidated me and made me jealous. I didn't even lose my virginity or kiss a girl until I got into college. As I went through college, my confidence grew in many areas of my life. But having more confidence around the concept of attraction, unfortunately, wasn't one of them. I was still an absolute clumsy novice in anything dating or attraction, let alone actual seduction. It wasn't until I started working for Lockheed Martin, being contracted by the military, that I began to see how simple basic human dynamics really are. It was in my unknowing that made me such an anxiety-ridden, low self-esteem, I'm not good enough mess. But when it dawned on me that, wow, there's nothing actually wrong with me, everything changed. When I was still with Lockheed Martin, I researched brain science on all of my off time. I mean, now that I knew there wasn't anything wrong with me, I needed to understand why I felt so unworthy of beautiful women. I discovered that the majority of what I believed was just stuff I repetitively and subconsciously practiced. In fact, Bruce Lipton, author of The Biology of Belief, has proven the majority of what we're conditioned to believe happens at just 7 years old. Let me ask you a question. What did your 7-year-old self know about anything? Nothing, right? So when I started understanding the power of systems, I realized I wasn't just learning new things, I was actually rewiring my brain and changing the biochemical foundation for my beliefs, even my personality. Fast forward over the last 15 years, I've personally helped thousands of men rewire their brains by replacing mystery with an absolute knowing. That's how all of the false stories you tell yourself and believe are completely erased and become something new. It's truly an exhilarating journey. Now, as the dust has settled in the last few years, I've been able to watch the massive transformation in the men I've helped use the system to turn them into literal attraction masters that are crushing every area of life. I realized something. The system is a legit superpower. After years of testing out different attraction methods and dating strategies in real-life scenarios, I've been able to analyze and take the golden nuggets from everything I tested and integrate it into my system. This accomplishes two things. One, I keep all of my dopamine-triggering strategies relevant and up to date, so they are always as evolved and optimized as possible. Two, I'm constantly reducing the amount of effort that I, or anyone I teach, actually needs to make. It was never about you making an effort. Attraction is truly effortless when you're speaking on the chemical level. Here's the number one secret I've learned in over 10 years of doing this professionally. The system does all the heavy lifting for you. It's the 90-10 rule. 10% of your efforts account for 90% of your results. Now, if you look back at the majority of your past romantic and sexual experiences, how often did it feel effortless? Not often, right? By the way, effortless attraction does not mean a woman is easy. It just means you both have the same desires, and they resonated because of triggering her attraction mechanism and being you genuinely. Well, the you who's confident and attractive, no matter what you used to think about yourself. That's the level of transformation the men who participate in my 8-week program very typically experience. That brings me to why I'm here. The system I've been talking about is a game changer for men all around the world. It's officially called the Platinum Dating System. Here's why I chose that name. Have you ever heard of the Golden Rule? It says, treat people as you want to be treated. For a lot of people, I guess that works. But then I discovered the Platinum Rule. It says, treat people as they want to be treated. And that's exactly what the Platinum Dating System is all about. Because guess what? Women aren't interested in what you want. They're interested in what they want, just like you are. That's exactly what the Platinum Dating System accomplishes. It teaches you how to take your agenda out of the equation and gives the women you're attracted to permission to act on what they actually want, and more so, crave. When you use the system and tap into her attraction mechanism, it's like telling her it's totally okay to live out her romantic and sexual fantasies with me. Now, I'm passionate about helping men, like I once was, overcome their negative stories. So once a year, I open up applications for my exclusive 8-week program. This is one of those times. I always get hundreds of applications every time I open up applications for my program. But unfortunately, I'm only able to accept 15 men into my next 8-week teleseminar course. That's the only way I can guarantee giving you and everyone else the attention you all need to reveal your own attraction superpowers. In the 8-week program, you'll learn all of the mindset and self-growth exercises that break through your old self-defeating stories. By the way, one of the most attractive things you can do to attract women towards you is being immersed in your own self-growth. It's mind-boggling. How to use online dating apps like Tinder and Bumble to leverage the amount of women you're actively talking with. Where to meet women during the day, and how to match your tone and approach with where they're at in their usually busy schedule. Why nighttime attraction in bars and clubs is different, and how to frame yourself, no matter what you look like, to to trigger women's attraction mechanism before you ever so much as speak a word. How to generate more phone number leads than you can handle, and organizing your dating life in week 8 so it doesn't take over your life. How to properly work all the leads to give yourself as many opportunities for dates and sexual encounters that you desire. Don't worry, this is for those of you that want a monogamous relationship with that one special girl as well. How to close the deal. Yes, what you do and say does determine whether your new attraction possibilities become romantic and/or sexual relationships. But that's far from all you receive if your application is accepted. When you join my 8-week program, you'll also get exclusive access to the Platinum Dating System's private Facebook group. You can ask me anything you need to master about the system and reveal your own hidden attraction superpowers. Inside of this group, I also do live interviews with other experts, one-on-one coaching when a member's story is super relatable, live Q&A video chats with live member guests, and so much more. But again, that's not all. I also do 2 group coaching sessions every week. So everyone who's accepted into my next 8-week program gets personal coaching in a group video environment. This way, you have me, who is widely known as the top dating expert in the world, right there by your side to assist you every step of the way on your journey to overcoming your own stories. Everyone listens, asks questions, sees themselves in your circumstances, and massively benefits from everyone else's vulnerability and openness. You'll get to see and hear how so many of your stories are mirrored and repeated in other men. This is an incredible tool for both discovering new skills and strategies, while also erasing old conditioning and false stories that you repetitively and subconsciously convince yourself to believe. Conditioning, remember? So from this point forward, there are basically 2 different futures. 1, you can continue living as you are and being frustrated by how mysterious women seem to you. Or 2, you can discover the undeniable science behind genuine attraction and learn the skills and strategies that predictably trigger women's attraction mechanism. There's literally nothing in between those 2 options. So, during this next week, me and my staff are going to field applications for my next 8-week program. These are free, zero-obligation, 30-minute free consulting sessions to get our fingers on the pulse of what's really going on with you in your dating life. Either me or one of my expert coaches will have an open-ended conversation with you about whether this is right for you or not. Ask your questions, all of them. We'll answer, and together, we'll blueprint your next steps, regardless of if your application is accepted. However, this is about both of us feeling each other out and making sure we're a good fit. I didn't take the time to create this presentation to sell you on my 8-week teleseminar intensive. I did it to field hundreds of men who submit applications, to assemble the best possible group for everyone to succeed. Click the button below to begin the application process. But here are a few things to ask yourself before you do. 1, am I absolutely committed to let go of my old stories and limiting beliefs so I can transform quickly? 2, am I ready, willing, and excited to wholeheartedly invest myself in time, effort, and money to rewrite my attraction story and physiologically rewire my brain? 3, am I ready to actually live the sexual and romantic experiences I always fantasize about? These are simple yes or no questions. If you answered yes to all 3, I really hope you take the time to show me and show yourself that you're truly committed to making it all come true. Look, guys, there's a ton of incredible information out there for dating, attraction, and seduction, if you're really looking. That's why I studied the greatest dating experts in our modern times, as I first started breaking into the dating and romance world. As a result, I've taken the best bits of what they offered in the early days of bringing science into predictable seduction and combined it all into creating the greatest dating system ever made. In that sense, the Platinum dating system is a lot like Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. Now, Jeet Kune Do is largely considered one of the most effective real-life martial arts ever developed. But it's not completely original. It's based on piecing together the best information, strategies, and skills available and integrating them into one cohesive system. So I did the same thing Bruce Lee did. I took timeless techniques that always work and combined them with the constantly changing dating reality we're all a part of. In other words, attraction has always remained the same, but the way we tap into attraction changes with the times. That's why my 8-week program is the path of least resistance for becoming the man women want. Click or tap the button below to fill out an application if you're serious about becoming a standout with any woman. Receive a free 30-minute consultation with myself or someone from my team, and let's see if you're a good fit for my next 8-week program. Thanks, guys. I'll talk with you soon.